Hey all, FrozenFoxy here, and I am bringing you a quick tutorial because a lot of people have been asking lately how to get Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines installed, as well as doing the unofficial patch and the widescreen, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be doing this tutorial for the Steam version because I think people have the most trouble getting the Steam version to work. And it's actually fairly easy if you pay attention as you're going along, and I'll show you how that works. So let's first go ahead and start with Google, because Google is where everything should start. The first thing that we really want to do is look for the unofficial patch. So let's go ahead and type in basically Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines unofficial patch. Pretty simple, and that'll bring up some links here. What we're looking for is this first one, which is patches-scrolls.de. So it's a German site. Anyways, let's go ahead and let this load up, and this is going to have a whole bunch of different patches here, including the official patch, which you could run off of. However, in my experience, the unofficial patch still causes the game to crash very late in the game, and honestly, I would not want the game to crash when I'm literally at the end of it. That would just suck. There is a beta patch, but I have never really played around with the beta patch. The one that I use is the unofficial English one here, which is 7.6b, as you can see. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And that's going to go ahead and open up this little thing here. Sometimes you won't see a mirror down here. Don't worry if that mirror does not appear for whatever reason. What you're going to want to go ahead and do is just refresh the page within about 30 minutes or so and see if that mirror appears. Sometimes it won't be there, sometimes it will. I don't know why it's like that, but file front is kind of odd. But once it does appear, you're going to go ahead and click on that, and it's going to bring you to this page where you can click on download now, and that will allow you to download the patch to your computer. Now, I've already got the patch on my computer, so we're going to go ahead and check that out directly right now. I'll be right back once I have that patch up and running. Alright, so here we are again. We've got the download that we retrieved from the Patches Scrolls place, and it's going to be called VtMB up 76.exe. It won't have the B on the end like the site, but it should be the correct patch. Anyways, go ahead and double click that. You might receive a message about a security warning. Just go ahead and run it anyway. It's basically okay. Don't worry about it. So this is going to welcome us to the patcher. You can read this if you want to, but I'm going to go ahead and click next. You've got a README here, which again we don't really care about. Now this thing right here is very important if you have the Steam version, because this is going to default to wherever it would have been installed if you had the discs. Now this is fine if you have the discs, but if you do not have the discs, you're going to actually be trying to install to the wrong place. And because of that, you're going to receive an error that says it's not installed. So what we want to do is browse for the Steam version. So again, it is going to be under your program files. If you're on a 64-bit version of Windows like I am, you might have this x86 thing here. It's still going to be under that. So let's go ahead and scroll down here until we see Steam. We're going to go ahead and open up the Steam folder, and then we're going to look into the Steam apps and under the Common here. Now, the Common is going to have a list of pretty much every game that you have installed. What we're looking for is the Vampire one here. Now, it looks a little bit different than the normal folder, but this is actually the folder that we want to have it installed to. So once you have that selected, go ahead and click Next, and you get to choose either the Basic patch or the Plus patch. Basic is just going to patch up the things that are screwed up, like crashing at the end of the game, and it's not going to really add anything. I don't really like that because the Plus patch actually does add in quests that were left out of the main game, and I think that's really cool, so I like to do the Plus patch. Once you've decided which one you want to pick, go ahead and click on Next, and then just go ahead and review the options here. It's going to tell you where it's going to be going to, which you picked, and then all the stuff that's going to be get installed. You're going to go ahead and click on Install at this point. I'm not going to because mine's already installed. But once it goes through the installation, it's going to ask you if you want to look at the README. Normally, I don't really care. I just deselect the README and then I click Finish. Now, you can view the README if you want. That's just going to tell you some more details about the patch and possibly instructions. I can't remember what the README has in it because it's never been a big deal to me. Now, once you get done with the patcher, I'm just going to exit this because I don't need to reinstall it. But once you get done with the patcher, what you need to do is go start looking for the tutorial on how to do a widescreen setup. Now, this one you can type in a couple different ways. You can either type it in as widescreen tutorial, which is popping up for me right now, or you can type it in as wide space screen. If you type it in as wide space screen, then what you're going to get is the correct site right away, but it's not going to be this first one right here. The one that we actually want is going to be this one right here, which is the second one. And the second one is going to have the full details here. Now, if you happen to type it in the other way without the space here and do widescreen tutorial, for whatever reason, my video pops up, which is part 1 of the Malkavian edition, and you can go through that way as well, because I did put a little tutorial link here, which doesn't quite go to the exact tutorial page, but it will take you to this one, and then you can click on this link here, which will eventually take you to the actual tutorial page. Now, basically, this goes over the fact that you're going to need to get a Hex Editor, and this Hex Editor is going to allow you to edit a DLL file that is available in the directory where the game has been installed. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through where that is exactly. So first off, you're going to want to open up an Explorer, of course, and we're going to go ahead and go to wherever you've installed it. For me, it's going to be in the Steam directory, obviously. And once we do get in there, the folder that we're looking for is going to be the bin folder here. Now, I've already got a little backup folder here. This will not normally be here. I usually like to create a backup folder. Most people are going to tell you create a backup folder and then back up the file that you're going to be screwing around with. So the one that we do need to mess around with is called engine.dll. So just go ahead and do a right click and copy that, and then go ahead and paste it into your backup folder. As you can see, I've already got it here. Now, once you've got that in place, you're going to want to open up your Hex Editor. For me, I use something called HXD. Just go ahead and Google that. I'll also go ahead and put a link to where you can find that. But HXD looks kind of like this. It's going to be pretty blank right now until you drag and drop the file that you're going to be editing. So we're doing engine DLL, and you're going to see something like this. This is probably going to look a little bit difficult to screw around with for someone who has never done any hex editing. It's actually fairly simple as long as you follow the steps and you do not screw up any of the steps along the way. So I mean, you can really screw up this file, and that's exactly why you want to have that backup, because if you do screw up this file, your game is likely not going to run properly. Also, if you happen to dial in the wrong values for the resolutions so that you can have widescreen, once you get into the game, the resolutions will be missing, which is basically indicating that you did something wrong. Anyways, we're going to go back over here, and this is going to have a string of hexadecimal numbers that we're going to want to copy. This right here is actually the string that is used for resolutions within the game, and if we search for this string using our Hex Editor here, then we can basically edit that string and change our resolutions. So you can either do a Control F, which I usually like to do, that's a search shortcut, or you can click on Search and click on Find, and as you can see, the Control F is right there. Now we're going to paste that in there. You can either right click and click on Paste, or my ever favorite Control V is going to do the paste as well. We don't want to search for a text string. We actually want to search for a hex value. If you search for a text string, you're actually not going to find anything. But if you search for the hex value, you will find this right here. Now, what I've found in the versions of this game that I've played is, for whatever reason, the last string around here, the resolution, which is going to be this 4006, and then I think it's B04. We can go check over here. The bolded numbers are what we're looking for, but that last part of the string never shows up as a resolution for me. I think it might be because my screen is unable to handle that resolution, but I am completely unsure about that. So usually what I end up editing right here is going to be the 05 and the 04 here. Now, what you need to know is that we need to change whatever resolution we want to use into a hexadecimal value. So to do that, I like to go ahead and open up a notepad so that I have a notepad here, and what I'm going to want for my first part is 1280 and my second part is 720. Now, I like to put a little equal sign here just so that I know what I'm doing. And that way I can put exactly what it equals once I get it from my little calculator. Now, Windows comes with its nice little calculator here. If you're on the Windows XP version of Windows, then you're going to want to use the scientific calculator. However, if you're on Windows 7, you're going to want to use the programmer calculator, because the scientific version does not have any hexadecimal. However, the programmer does. So as we can see here, we've got dec, which stands for decimal, and we've got hex, which stands for hexadecimal. So first we want to make sure that it's selected the decimal here, and then we're going to dial in 1280. Now, you can either go ahead and flip it over to hex, or you can, for the most part, I believe, read it from here. I don't like doing that because I think it's much easier to just hit hex right here, and that's going to give us a value of 500. So the hexadecimal value is going to be 500 for 1280. Now, because of the way that the game actually reads the resolution, we need to flip-flop this number. So instead of having this right here, I'm actually going to split this up so that you can understand what we're flip-flopping here. First thing that we want is 00, so that is the last two numbers here. And then for the second part, we want 05. So we've basically flip-flopped the way that the number appears. Now let's go ahead and switch back to decimal, and we're going to dial in 720. Now at this point we're going to have this 2D0 here, and you'll notice that I'm always adding a 0 before it, and that is basically a filler for the 0 that's missing there. Otherwise we would have 2D0 and there would be a missing 0. Never put filler on the end of the number because you have just increased that number quite a bit. If you put filler before the number, which is a 0, then you're not increasing the number at all. Now again, we want to flip-flop the numbers, so we're going to go with D0 and 02. Now, because of the way that the hex is actually set up in here, with the previous numbers, we're going to have 05 already set here. So we have 0005 because the first one is 1280, and then we have 0001 04. So this is the only one that we actually need to change. Now what you want to do is put your cursor right in front of where you're going to change something, and then you can start typing on your keyboard. So the first number that we are going to do is going to be D0. And the second one is going to be 02. And if we check our notepad against that, yes, it should be D002. It should not be 02D0 because that is not a flip-flop number. Now once you have entered this flip-flop number, you're going to go ahead and save the file, and you'll notice that it's saved because the red has disappeared. If you see any red in the file still, that means the file has yet to be saved. Now once you're done with this, go ahead and exit this out. Now because of the way that the game works with the extra resolution, the widescreen resolution, you do need to hack the game slightly, so you're going to need the console enabled within the game. Now, to enable the console, normally you would take the shortcut for the game, and after the quotes around the target, you're going to put -console. However, in Steam, you can do that a completely different way. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the game that you're interested in this case, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. We're going to go ahead and right-click that, and that's going to give us this little properties thing down here. Now once you click on that properties, it's going to open this window here, and you can set some launch options. Now the launch option that we want is the same that we would be setting on a shortcut, so we're just going to type in -console. And this will give us the ability to open the console once we get inside the game. That's important because we have to set our field of view, and we have to set the R anthropomorphic. Otherwise, you're going to get a slightly weird looking screen when you're playing, and it can cut off some things. Now, that's not to say that it's not going to cut off things even when you're doing this widescreen, because there are a few things that do get cut off in the game that are not cut off normally, but it shouldn't be anything that's going to really affect the gameplay too much, except for the fact that normally when you're clicking on buttons, you have to click towards the bottom section of the button, because for whatever the button is now off-center. So that's the main thing you need to worry about. Now once you've set that launch option, the other thing that I recommend to do is go click on Steam and Settings here, and you're going to go to the In-Game tab. And you're going to want to disable the Steam community right here. If this is checked, that means it's enabled. You're going to want to uncheck that, and the reason for that is this game was made before Steam, and it wasn't meant to be used with Steam. And if you do open this within the game, it can and often does cause the game to crash. Now this is more likely to happen with older games such as XCOM UFO Defense, but it can and does happen with newer games that were never meant to be on Steam to begin with. So once we have that done, what we need to do at this point is go ahead and open the game. So I will see you once the game is open in just a moment. So as you can see, when we get into the game for the first time, we're going to have the console up already. You're going to go ahead and hit the tilde key, which should be right next to your number 1 key to take the console down, or you can hit the X in the corner depending on how you want to do it. You're also going to notice that we have a standard definition here, which is why you're going to see a square shape as we get into the game. Now the first thing that we want to go ahead and do is click on Options here, and then we're going to go ahead and head over to Video. And under Video, we should see 3 resolutions, with the final resolution being the one that we changed. Now, for you, you might be able to see 4 resolutions, but I've only ever seen 3 resolutions, and we're going to go ahead and set it to this final one, which is going to be the 1280-720 that we hacked using the Hex Editor. Now, the thing that you have to remember when you set a resolution here is that you actually have to restart the game for it to take effect. So we're not going to restart the game just yet. I just want to point out one other configuration option, which is under Audio. and that's environmental effects. If this is checked, you're actually going to receive an echo when you're doing any sort of recording. So I highly recommend to uncheck this so that you avoid that echo when you're doing any kind of recording with this game. So if you're doing a Let's Play or whatever, this is going to fix that so that you don't get that echo when people are talking, which is really annoying. Anyways, once you have gotten those configurations, go ahead and click on OK. You'll receive a message talking about it needing to be restarted to take effect. So we'll go ahead and click OK, we'll hit quit, and we'll be right back when the resolution is changed. Alright, here we are back once again, and now you should see a 1280 720 resolution, which is really awesome. The final thing that you want to go ahead and do is type into the console a couple different things. So we're going to do first R anamorphic, and we're going to set it to 1. And then we're going to do FOV, which stands for Field of View, 69. And this will basically finish the setup for doing widescreen and the configuration that I would be using for doing recordings here. So just go ahead and hit your tilde and start a new game when you're ready. I hope this has helped you all, and I'll see y'all later. Bye for now.